Coming up next, the latest on the fight at a Penn State fraternity, the video, the investigation, and what police and the university are saying.
And salt is one of the keys to keeping local roads ice-free. Coming up, a closer look at the science of salt and how it is used during the winter. The Center County Report starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Cheyenne Oswald.
And I'm Logan Westrup. Thanks for joining us. The police investigation continues today into a fight at a Penn State fraternity house that left 4 people injured. And now the Center County Report has obtained the video that reportedly shows the chaos as it happened. Reporter Chris Keaton is live outside the Delta Chi fraternity in State College with more. Chris?
All is quiet at Delta Chi here on Fairmont Avenue, a much different scene than just a little bit over a week ago, where police say a large group of men approached the house and started fighting with fraternity members. Now, 4 fraternity members were sent to the hospital with injuries, but have since then been released. Now we have the video as it reportedly shows the fight as it happened.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
This cell phone video shows punches being thrown and people yelling as someone records the incident. Center County Report obtained the video that reportedly shows the fight outside Delta Chi fraternity in State College around 2 a.m. on January 27th. Police say 4 fraternity members were treated for injuries at Mount Nittany Medical Center. Police are investigating and said in a statement they're, quote, aware of the potential of Penn State student athletes, in addition to Greek life members, being involved.
Oh, big.
They say Penn State athletics and compliance officials are helping to identify those involved, and names would be released if and when criminal charges are filed. Penn State athletics issued a statement to us saying, quote, this is a serious matter that is being investigated. We will take appropriate steps based on the findings. We do not have any further comment at this time. We have contacted State College Police asking if this is the same video they have showing the incident, but they have yet to respond to us. Live in State College, I'm Chris Keating for the Center County Report.
As police continue their investigation into recent shootings that left 4 dead in State College, some residents, students, and activists came together to remember the victims and call for a change. Our Maddie Beer Temple has the story.
Some held signs, others held hands, but they stood together for the same reason.
This was devastating news.
Community members, students, and activists turned out to remember the 3 victims killed in last week's tragedy. Jordan Whitmer fatally shot 62-year-old Dean Beachy and his 19-year-old son Stephen at PJ Harrigan's bar on South Atherton Street Thursday night. Police say he then broke into a home on Tussey Lane and killed 83-year-old George McCormick before killing himself. Some at the event called for gun control they say would help prevent these tragedies.
To stand against the guns to solve problems. They don't solve problems, they create more problems.
More than 50 people gathered for today's candlelight vigil just outside the Allen Street gates here in downtown State College to remember the 3 people who were shot and killed and the 1 person who is still injured after last week's shooting at PJ Harrington's Bar and Grill. Penn State alum Anthony Zarzicki was one of those attending.
Something that would really help a lot of people get out of this is how important it is to realize that a lot of this is conversations and it's community. You know, there's aren't evildoers really. You know, it's people go down wrong paths and there aren't people there correcting them.
The vigil was organized by a group called Standing at the Gates of Justice. The group says it holds vigils and events like this every Monday on social and justice issues. The event ended with a prayer from a local pastor.
In the midst of our grief, we must find ways to hold each other.
In State College, I'm Maddie Beer Temple for the Center County Report.
Police have not yet released any new information in the shooting case, including a possible motive.
Pennsylvania is a step closer to changing a lifetime-long hunting tradition around the state. The Game Commission Board has given preliminary approval to opening deer rifle season on Saturday instead of the Monday after Thanksgiving. This year's first day would be Saturday, November 30th. The plan will be up for a final approval vote in April.
The special election to replace former 12th District Congressman Tom Marino will be held on May 21st, the same day as Pennsylvania's primary election. Candidates from both parties are already stepping up, and Tyler Olson has the story.
$500,000 augmentation With Governor Tom Wolf's announcement that the 12th Congressional District special election will be held on May 21st, state political parties face a tight timeline to choose candidates to be on the ballot. Chris Ng, chairwoman of the Center County Republicans, is part of the group choosing a new GOP candidate and says fundraising is crucial in an abbreviated race.
I've talked with some of the candidates who have called me, and one of my questions is, what is their ability to raise money?
The 12th district is very red. Tom Marino won by 32 points in November. But Center County Democrats Chairman Greg Stewart says special elections can be unique.
Connor Lamb is a good example. When he first was elected during the special election, that was a very heavily Republican district.
The first person, and only Democrat so far, to say they'll run for Marino's seat was his 2018 opponent, Mark Friedenberg. The Penn State professor announced his campaign the same day as Marino's resignation.
For me, the most important things are always the pocketbook issues. It's jobs, healthcare, and education.
When Friedenberg agreed to come speak at the Women's March at the Allen Street Gates, he thought he'd be doing so as a former congressional candidate. But with the resignation of Tom Marino, his talk turned into a stump speech for an upcoming special election.
We're going backwards in a lot of ways, and that has to stop.
Since 2016, Democratic candidates have won all 3 congressional special elections in Pennsylvania. They'll look to make it 4 for 4 this spring. In State College, I'm Tyler Olson for the Center County Report.
Democrats who want to put their name in for the party's nomination need to contact the state party by the end of the business day. And the Democratic Executive Committee will select a candidate by February 22nd. There are currently 21 Republicans being considered for the GOP nomination, including Marino's 2018 primary challenger, Doug Malenko, and Penn State law student Patrick Miller.
We're enjoying some warmer temperatures right now, but more winter weather is coming back soon. When we have icy roads, crews use a lot of salt to keep them clear, but how much do you know about how that salt works? You see it everywhere in the winter. It's on the roads and the sidewalks, often before a storm hits. Road salt is typically the go-to preparation when crews treat roads hours before a storm's arrival. The goal is to lower the freezing point of the snow. Instead of waiting for temperatures to warm up to 32 degrees, the wintry mix melts faster.
Basically, if you can get anything to dissolve in water, that will lower the freezing point of the water. Salt is particularly good because a lot will dissolve.
In fact, road salt used on roads contains the same chemical makeup as the salt you use on food. The only difference is the size of the salt crystals. Now here in smaller parking lots, they tend to use more rock salt. As they head out onto the main roads and highways, you tend to see more brine as it is more cost effective. PennDOT has budgeted $228 million to cover this winter weather. That number is based on an average of the past 5 winters' expenses.
Depending on what kind of precipitation we're expecting, then we might be pre-treating a roadway, we might be mixing salt with anti-skid, or we may just be applying straight salt.
Last winter, PennDOT used more than 950,000 tons of salt and 622 tons of anti-skid material.
The biggest thing that we want to share with drivers is that if they do not need to drive, the best choice they can make is to not drive.
Scientists are still searching for eco-friendly alternatives to use for future winters.
And speaking of weather, we'll check the 7-day forecast to see if the winter is ready to make a return to Central PA.
Also coming up, it was a big weekend in Puxatawny as thousands of people turned out for Groundhog Day. Our crew was there to bring you the sights and the sounds of this Pennsylvania tradition. Thousands turned out this weekend in Puxatawny for the annual Pennsylvania tradition, Groundhog Day. It was their chance to see their famous Phil and have some fun. Reporter Amanda Mitchell was there.
In front of an estimated 30,000 people bundled up in the morning cold, the world's most famous groundhog made his annual appearance. Every February 2nd, thousands gather at Gobbler's Knob here in Puxatawny to celebrate Groundhog Day. The president is the only one who communicates with the groundhog.
Only the president of the Groundhog Club can speak groundhogese, and it's through his possession of an ancient acacia wood cane that's been passed down from president to president.
Crowds swarmed to see Phil, the weather-keeping groundhog, despite how absolutely freezing it was here at Gobbler's Knob. Between the event's start time around 3 a.m. and Phil's forecast around 7:30, there's plenty to see. To arrive on time to hear Phil's precise 7:28 prognostication, there wasn't much time for sleep.
2:30 is what time I had to wake up this morning. 2:30.
People came prepared to greet Phil with signs and songs.
There's a groundhog in the sun, in the sun.
And for only the 19th time in Groundhog Day's 133-year history, Phil did not see his shadow.
There is no shadow of me. A beautiful spring, it shall be.
That means, supposedly, an early spring.
I think Phil's right on target, and if not, we're going to have gopher for dinner.
In Puxatawney, I'm Amanda Mitchell for the Center County Report.
There are other similar groundhog events around the country. One of them also happened Saturday in Staten Island, New York, where Chuck the Groundhog also had the same prediction as Puxatawney Phil.
Well, Punxsutawney Phil's prediction came true for at least the first part of this week. If you noticed the warm temperatures yesterday, and I hope you got out and enjoyed it because they will continue for today. But some of those warm temperatures melted the snow that we had last week and then gave us a little extra moisture in the atmosphere, therefore giving us some fog in the Johnstown valleys that we caught on our CCR cam this morning. You know, it was a beautiful shot this morning, but we do have temperatures that are warming up for most of the area under these sunny skies at Beaver Stadium. It's a nice another sunny day, so I hope you get out and enjoy it because temperatures right now 43 degrees here in State College, 48 in Altoona, so they are steadily rising. I've seen this color green move over towards the rest of this western and central Pennsylvania, so we are warming our temperatures up today. It's 62, I should say, over in Erie, and that's the warm spot on the map. And you know, they're pretty comfortable this time in January or early February. It is winter. 53 over in Franklin and 56 in Pittsburgh. But what can we expect tonight? Showers will be moving into our area, bringing in some clouds and, you know, some of the crappy stuff by about 2:30 in the morning, but it won't be much. It'll move out pretty quickly, and then we see the clouds break up by tomorrow, continuing the sunny trend into the day for our Tuesdays. Now we do expect a high of 54 for today, so like I said, get out and enjoy it because we are about 20 degrees above our normal, which is 36 degrees for this time of year. And then we have our low temperatures tonight, 40 degrees, with a few showers moving in tonight, and then the 7-day forecast. What does that look like? Well, 51 degrees on Tuesday, and then down to 27 by Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be the day we're going to have to watch because we have a chance for some freezing rain to move into the area, getting caught in some of those cold pockets in the valleys, and then 38 degrees for a high. Now, what does that look like for the rest of the 7-day by the end of the week? Well, 48 degrees on Friday, but then our temperatures drop back into what they should be for this time of year. So winter is not done yet because it is, well, February.
Be nice, Patrick, I'm sure, because I heard you had some Groundhog Day plans this weekend to have some of those warmer temperatures as you were traveling this weekend.
Oh yeah, I made a pit stop in Punxsutawney.
Nice.
It was cold. It was very cold. 3 layers of shirts and a big coat.
Hey, you got to bundle up, right? It's still February. Now we're going to send over to Tommy Butler with sports.
We check in on the Penn State men's basketball team following a heartbreaking overtime loss to Purdue. They hit the road tonight. Also coming up, we'll talk with Penn State Com Radio's broadcaster Brandon Pelter, who's in Atlanta for the Super Bowl. Sports is up next after this break. I'm Tommy Butler with sports. The New England Patriots are once again Super Bowl champions. They beat the Rams last night for the team's 6th Super Bowl victory. Reporter Brandon Pelter is live in Atlanta, where he spent the Super Bowl week with Penn State Com Radio reporting on the game. Brandon, what was the atmosphere like this weekend?
I think it's just a lot of people. You have thousands of media members and certainly plenty more fans here as well. So many different events that surround the game and just a lot to do here throughout the week. A lot of athletes, current and former, as well as celebrities roaming around. So a lot going on and a lot of people trying to mingle and talk to each other.
There's so much that surrounds the Super Bowl that it seems like a circus at times. Just how crazy is it being there?
It really is a circus. You're certainly not wrong in describing it that way. When you start out Monday night, they call it the opening night of the Super Bowl, and both teams are available. We had a reporter that I saw dressed as a clown. Another was wearing a sombrero. Others were dressed up in different costumes. It really is a circus, and you also have all these different events from concerts to Fan Fest. There is just so much that surrounds this game. It's not just the big game on Sunday. It's a week long, full of different events, and the host city of Atlanta was really great this week.
The final score of 13-3 made Super Bowl 53 the lowest scoring in history. What do you think accounted for that?
Well, Bill Belichick and the Patriots are always known for that defense stepping up, and they certainly did last night. They were able to really make Jared Goff uncomfortable. And we saw that late interception. That was purely a product of him panicking, trying to throw the ball away and just underthrowing it. But you also have to tip your cap to the Rams defense, specifically their secondary. I think they did a really nice job. The only receiver they really struggled with was the MVP of the game, Julian Edelman, who had 7 catches, 93 yards in just the first half. That was the first time a wide receiver had ever had at least 7 catches and 75 yards in a half of the Super Bowl. He found himself wide open. Besides that, though, the Rams were able to keep the Patriots fairly settled down until that late touchdown. And then, of course, that field goal to really seal the deal late in the fourth quarter.
Brendan Pelter live in Atlanta. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Penn State men's basketball plays at Northwestern tonight as Pat Chambers and company continue searching for their first Big Ten win. The Nittany Lions are coming off a tough overtime loss against Purdue. Tyler Olson takes a look.
Lamar Stevens' 24 points led 8 Penn State scorers as the blue and white took 17th ranked Purdue to overtime on Thursday. But the Nittany Lions fell 99-90 after they mustered just 5 points in the extra period, falling to 7-14 overall and leaving them still without a conference win. Penn State was down by as much as 17 in the first half before charging back to shrink the deficit to 3 after a Mike Watkins tip-in. Rozier Bolton, who had a Big Ten career high with 18 points, gave Penn State its first and only lead with 58 seconds left. But Purdue's Carson Edwards went coast to coast with 5 remaining to send it to OT tied at 85. Then the Boilermakers ran away with it, forcing Penn State coach Pat Chambers to search for positives after yet another tough loss.
But I felt like we played at a very high level, and we really persevered. They took a big lead in the first half, and we started punching back.
With the Lions now on an 8-game losing streak, Bolton says the locker room is still in good spirits.
We don't go back to the locker room and think, season's over. We think next game, we got to do even more.
Northwestern is 12th in the Big Ten at 3-7, and tonight's game in Evanston could be the Lions' best opportunity to get their first Big Ten win since February 2018 against Ohio State. The biggest matchup of the game could be Lamar Stevens against forward Vic Law, who leads the Wildcats with 15.3 points per game and shoots 33% from behind the arc. In University Park, I'm Tyler Olson for the Center County Report.
Maryland held Law to just 5 points in 33 minutes during Northwestern's loss to the Terps last week. That film may give Penn State the defensive blueprint they need to grab their first conference win. Number 1 Penn State Wrestling hosted 5th-ranked Michigan Wolverines on Friday for their annual duel in the Bryce Jordan Center. Reporter Hannah Mears has the story.
This season, the Penn State wrestling team ventures from Rec Hall to a change of scenery for the highly anticipated Bryce Jordan Center match. The 2019 BJC Duel brought in a sold-out crowd on Friday for the matchup between the top-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions and number 4 Michigan Wolverines. Both Big Ten teams came into the match undefeated on the season. However, with the home crowd on their side, the Nittany Lions defeated the Wolverines by a final score of 25-11.
But yeah, Michigan had a great team, has a great team. We're going to see them again. Those are guys that you could very well see in the semifinals of the national tournament or the finals of the national tournament. Very good.
5 matches during the evening featured ranked wrestlers going head-to-head. Nick Lee, Jason Nolf, Vincenzo Joseph, Mark Hall, and Anthony Cassar were victorious for Penn State in those featured bouts.
Kind of came to the conclusion I was going to wrestle my match and try to score points no matter what. If it came down to me or not, or if we're losing or we're up by a lot, I'm still going to wrestle my match. And I went out there and did that.
And the Nittany Lions are now 10-0 overall and 6-0 in the conference. For the Center County Report, I'm Hannah Mears.
Penn State will travel to 6th-ranked Ohio State on Friday for its next Big Ten match. That's all for sports. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Tommy. Coming up next, we take a look at how a local student is building small for his future, but he has a big dream about traveling all over North America.
A Penn State student is planning ahead for life after graduation through a minimalist lifestyle. Reporter Chris Keating shows us what he's doing.
Meet senior Sam Reiser. Since his freshman year of college, he's wanted to live tiny. Just last year, Reiser got the idea for what he calls his home on wheels. He is in the process of converting a 2001 Bluebird school bus into his own personal tiny home. Reiser has the bus parked in Boalsburg and ventures out there every day after class and track practice to continue working on it.
I just don't put any pressure on myself, and so even though this is a huge project, I just come out as often as I can and don't put any pressure on myself.
The Home on Wheels project started back in October, and Reiser says he hopes to have it done by the time he graduates in May. The tiny home will be equipped with a bedroom, a full shower, and a kitchen, and be powered by solar panels located on the roof. Thanks to the continuous support that Reiser has received from other students at the university, the project is currently ahead of schedule.
Yeah, I've been super lucky, and I'm really fortunate to have a good, strong friendship base here. And everybody's been super supportive and gotten on board with the project and wanted to help.
Reiser firmly believes that his soon-to-be minimalist lifestyle home will be an improvement from his current apartment in State College. He plans to live out of the bus full-time and says that the only rent he will have to pay is the $40 a month for car insurance. In Boalsburg for the Center County Report, I'm Chris Keating.
Reiser is sharing updates on the tiny home project through an Instagram he created at Bus Roaming.
That's all for today's newscast. You can find more of our stories on our website, centercountyreport.com.
And you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Twitter feed. That's at Center County REP, or on our Facebook page. We also have a Center County Report Instagram. Join us for our next newscast on Friday. Have a great day, everyone.